God bless you, everybody. Not going to be before you too long. I just want to quickly get on here and give you this word that the Lord gave me this morning. It is a hopeful message, although it doesn't sound like it, but just hear me out. It is in regards to so-called African Americans. If you decide that you want to send me a comment, a negative comment, or a message, don't waste your time. I have people who send me these big, long paragraphs, negative comments because they can't stand it when I make a message about so-called African Americans. Now, I can make a message. The Lord can give me a prophetic message about any other culture, and I never have a negative comment or anything. So you have to look into yourself and figure out why that is. But anyway, without further ado, I'm not going to waste too much time talking about that. So I was waking up this morning. Well, I was wide awake, but I was still in the bed. And the Lord just began to speak to me. And he said 3 short phrases. And after I get done telling you what the phrases are, I'm going to explain to you what they mean. So he said we, which means in regards to so-called African Americans, we have been reduced down to drug lords and genitals. And then he said to me, the will of a people are an uphill battle. And lastly, the words Ephrata. So I began to sit there and I just asked the Lord to just, lay this all out for me. What does this mean? So the first sentence meant that we have been reduced down to drug lords and genital, meaning that there was a orchestrated effort to just portray us as gangsters and some type of sex objects. And that's it. And that is our legacy. That is what we are portrayed as all over the world, that we are good for nothing else but that. And so even though we know that that's not true, but that's what's out there. And you might say that, well, that's the African Americans' fault because that's what they put out. But no, behind the scenes, that a lot of stuff was going on behind the scenes that wasn't orchestrated by us. And that's all I'm going to say with that. But then he's talking about the will of a people. And so he's talking about the fact that when we all get on one accord and open our eyes to see what is actually going on, like to see what has been done to us, when we come to a point where we're all at a critical level or a critical mass level, that God is going to do something miraculous for African Americans. Now, God has already been doing it, and you've been seeing it, even in the news, what God has been doing for so-called African Americans. But there's something when we get more open, which is the last interpretation of what the last phrase means. Ephrata means to be open. When we all get to a point where we begin to open our eyes and ears and understand who we are and where we're going, then something's going to happen miraculous. And I don't know exactly what that is, but you could see things are already revving up in regards to African Americans. So in the Bible, there is where Jesus was being, he opened the ears of a man who was deaf, and he said, Ephrata. He looked up to the sky and said, Ephrata, and be opened. And so God is saying to so-called African Americans, be opened. Open your ears to hear what God is saying and what he's saying about you. And he's telling you that you are not just a a bag of genitals, that you're not just gangsters, that you have a more glorious past and a glorious future, and you need to know it. And because you don't know it, because some of us don't know it, that is why that's what's holding up the movement forward. And some of us can have the information right in front of our face, but we still don't believe. And so, especially the older generation, but they're starting to open their eyes as well. They're starting to open their ears and not reject what's been told, to not reject what God is showing them. And it's because, when you've been churched all your life and taught one way, and then you finally realize the truth, or the truth hits you, it's hard to then throw out what you've been taught all these years. And so that's why it's hard for the older generation. But even let's look at the young generation. They have been inundated with all these drug lord and genital images that they can't believe that they are something more than that, something much, much greater. But God is He's opening a lot of things. He's not only opening ears and eyes, He's opening the truth, and it's coming out, spilling over, just like this water. I'm glad I was able to tie that in. Just like this water you see on the screen, it's spilling out and it's overflowing, and it can't be stopped. But God says that once we all get on one accord, now not all of us, but when enough of us get on one accord and opened and start to understand what is really going down in history and in our past, then the future is going to be opened in a much faster rate, because God is already doing it. But the more of us come on board, the faster we're going to see results. So, all right, that's it, guys. I love you. God bless you. And until we meet again.